Hello and welcome to NAFDAC and Your Health, where we bring you all the important information you need to know about NAFDAC, the agency saddled with the responsibility of safeguarding our health by ensuring that the foods, drugs, cosmetics, and medical equipment made available to us are safe and wholesome. My name is Tosin Adebayo. On this edition of the program, we'll examine NAFDAC's role and efforts at encouraging and improving local manufacturing of regulated products. In the drug manufacturing sector, the agency over the last 4 years has set in motion various policy actions to improve the value and quality of the local industry, but overall to ensure drug security for Nigeria.
When you talk of drug security, you have to immediately think of local capacity. At the peak of HIV/AIDS, over 30-something million Africans died because there were no drugs for HIV/AIDS. That is what is called drug insecurity in the continent. And that is what I've been advocating since I took office, that our local capacity should be significantly improved. Right now, we have about 30% local production, 70% import. I would like us to turn it around to 70-30, meaning 70% local and 30% as imports, because we will always import, no matter what. We will always import. It is just the ratio. How much can we import that will make us secure if there is a problem? Not running helter-skelter looking for others to help us. So it is extremely important to assist, to come alongside our local manufacturing. But again, we have to strengthen, as we are being strengthened, we have to strengthen our local manufacturers. And that's what we are doing right now. We went round to do industry-wide good manufacturing practice inspection.
Basically, GMP, which is good manufacturing practice, is a system that ensures that the products we take consistently meet quality standards. Now, the C in front of it means that at any point in time, a facility's GMP, that's the good manufacturing practice, must be current. It is a mandatory process. It is a very transparent process. It ensures that there is transparency. It ensures that products are repeatable. In other words, that your processes are repeatable. It ensures that your processes can be investigated. If there are no checks and balances, we all want to make the maximum profits possible. This is an international process. It's practiced all over the world to ensure that the products meet standards of identity. What is most interesting about the GMP is that you have designed quality into a process. It eliminates a lot of risk. Even WHO has realized that the best way for access to safe, quality, and efficacious medicines is through local manufacture. When the companies that are domiciled in Nigeria have more frequent regulatory visits from us, the regulators, unlike the ones abroad, I don't have that opportunity to carry out a random visit to their facilities, to ensure that they are complying with GMP, unlike the local manufacturer. And so at any time I am sure of the quality of products that are coming from the local industry more than what is coming from abroad. But that does not mean that the products that are coming from abroad do not meet quality. It is that local production will, in addition to quality, increase employment opportunities.
NAFDAC as a way to further encourage the development of local pharmaceutical industries and reduce excessive reliance of importation, introduced the 5 plus 5 method.
We have what is called 5 plus 5 year validity, meaning that we give you approval upon registration for 5 years. After 5 years, you can renew your product. We have changed that completely, meaning you cannot renew forever and keep importing. If you have been bringing it in for a long time, and now we see that there are so many companies that are doing the same thing locally, we advise you, start telling us how you want to start producing locally. Migration to local production, local manufacturing. So the 5 plus 5 year validity is also going to help. Another aspect of it that is going to help that we have put in place is 5-year exclusivity advantage. I will call it advantage. In which case, if you are a manufacturer and you did something innovative, we will allow you market exclusivity for 5 years. You will be the only one that will be selling that product for 5 years, because that will give you time to recoup all the money that you have invested.
Another way NAFDAC is working to spur the growth of the local drug manufacturing industry in Nigeria is to engineer partnerships, but locally and internationally, in order to strengthen capacity.
Partnership. Very, very important to our manufacturing industry, pharmaceutical manufacturing industry in Nigeria. And there are two different types of partnership. You have multinational companies partnering with local companies. That is happening now. About a month ago, we celebrated the partnership of GSK with Fitsin. We had already done that of Sanofi with May and Baker, maybe 18 months ago, before the pandemic, or before the pandemic. But this just didn't happen overnight. It happened because we now use international best practices, international standards to assess our companies. We started the GMP, Good Manufacturing Practice Roadmap, 2018-2019, where we actually went through 165 companies. This was also funded by USAID and through USP. And what we did there was to assess how compliant companies are in terms of international best practices. And we used 21 indicators. 17 of those 21 indicators are based on quality management system. Only 4 are based on the site itself, the pharmaceutical manufacturing site, which means quality management system or having quality system in a pharmaceutical company, very, very important. And I've mentioned it in different places, you cannot give what you don't have. It is because we have gone through quality management system training ourselves. So we are able to understand better what it means for the industry. So that resulted in categorization of our companies to category A, B, and C. Risk-based categorization. A being low risk, C being high risk. Again, I mentioned that it is not punitive. It is to let the companies know that you are deficient in A, B, C, D, and you have to correct them. And that has done wonders for our own companies because the companies that are in category C want to be in medium risk. And the ones in category B, medium risk, want to go to low risk. And that is exciting to multinational companies. So they now can see, okay, we want to work with you. can we talk and whatnot, and that is what is resulting in multinational companies, and that is helping our local companies because their capacity is improving, and their product can also be sold globally, because these companies that are coming from US or UK, they are bringing their own culture and international best practices to work with companies that we have already rated, low risk or medium risk. So it's a win-win. The second type of partnership is contract manufacturing. Through contract manufacturing, meaning a company from overseas that has been making a particular product, and we have put those products under ceiling, meaning we will no longer have them imported again, because we have some companies that are already doing that in Nigeria. So they can partner with such companies. Instead of importing, now they will be manufacturing with a company that is already existing. So that is contract manufacturing, and that is also good. Whether it is through multinational big partnership or contract manufacturing, it is good for our own economy, aside from good for the health of our populace, because it increases the confidence level, knowing that our companies are improving on a daily basis. What the GMP roadmap has done also is that few companies that are in category C and that felt that the corrective actions are too many, some of them are now building new structures, because they felt that the money that is going to take to correct an old building or old culture or whatever will be too much. So they started fresh. That is very, very good for the pharmaceutical industry.
NAFDAC and your health will be right back. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, you're watching NAFDAC and your health. The food and cosmetics sector are other segments of the local manufacturing space that NAFDAC is relentlessly spurring growth. The agency, first of all, decentralized its registration structure to make it easier for more interested people to get involved.
We decentralized registration of foods mid 2018. It used to be all central, meaning central, Abuja, Lagos still have to approve. But because we now have directors in the zones, we decentralized so that the approval of foods can now be done at the zonal level. They don't need to send it to the director in Lagos to approve, because we now have directors in the zones. The Lagos State Office was created because of the size of Lagos. EFSAN itself, the core office, does a lot of food approvals and so on, but we separated many of the items for Lagos State Office to take care of. So based on the size of Lagos, that office is very, very busy. That is the LSO office. So now it is not just that you can register at the zones. Now we have a Lagos State Office aside from the central office in Isolo.
We didn't really know that we had so many people interested in this sector. She introduced a number of incentives. There was a 50% reduction. There was encouraging accepting shared facility for those who didn't even have facilities to even produce. She even went to the extent of saying kitchen scale you could actually produce in your kitchen as long as the product was low risk and dry. We had to explain to them how that could work out. Then we also had expedited process. The products go into the lab, because most times people tell us that our products stay long, our registration process stays long. So what we did there was to talk to her about having to expedite the process, at the lab, at the laboratory level, so that we know whether these products are satisfactory or not. And she put out instructions that and said we should go ahead, and she approved this. And this is a message we have been sending to all the different sectorial groups, and they were beginning to ask themselves, you mean this is really possible in Nigeria or in Lagos?
These measures put in place by the agency, including reduction of fees, unbundling of the registration process, and indeed public enlightenment and capacity development trainings, has had tremendous effect on the sector, as more and more local food and cosmetics producers have come under the regulatory umbrella of NAFDAC, allowing the agency to infuse international standards of good manufacturing practice in the food and cosmetics sector.
You would not believe how many people, how many applications came into the system. For us, we are very happy about that. And you know why? Because they are involved in so many NAFDAC-related products that if you do not control, can cause a lot of problems for the users. A lot of us take Gary, for example, but a lot of Garris that have been analyzed here, we find out that they have very high cyanide content, quite a lot of them. So we have the opportunity of trying to teach them or train them on why that Gary has high cyanide content, so that you don't destroy our people by making them take what is not right. If we were not controlling them, then you can imagine what would have happened.
Scientifically, we have a standard, a minimum standard that must be allowed. Most of them fails. So we have to go back to the drawing board. We say, okay, call this group, we discuss with them, educate them, teach them better processing method. If you are processing your Gari for 1 week, you keep it for pressing or fermentation. You have to keep it for 2 weeks, 14 days. And we started achieving better results in that area. Then we advise them on proper frying. Because by the time you are frying it, it evaporates. The cyanide goes into the atmosphere. Then you have a better Gari. And because of our training, like we would have expected microbiological factors, probably in the areas because of handling, we have been able to educate them on the use of hand gloves and proper cleaning of hands and having good hygiene system in place. Yes, if you look at the trend of our lab result, finger foods has been perfect. Chin-chin, plantain chips, and granite, we have done so very well. And we have even gone to the stage, the issue of allergens, which people don't know. We have been able to teach them, they are really appreciating, because we have taught them the science and technology in these products. So they are really appreciating us as an office, as an agency. They are appreciating NAFDAC.
Traditional means of treatment has been a lasting practice in Africa for many centuries, and the formulation of plants and other naturally occurring materials into medicine have stood the test of time. Over the years, these herbal formulations have proven to be effective in both preventive and curative treatments, respectively.
Herbal medicine, I say it everywhere, is a low-hanging fruit, because we have our biodiversity, or the natural plants and shrubs that we have around us. We have so many of them that we have not tapped into their potentials. I was raised up on herbal medicines, and here I am, But what we are doing now in NAFDAC is to ensure that our herbalists and our researchers come together.
The agency set up the Herbal Medicine Product Committee to ensure that our herbal medicines in Nigeria are research-based and comply with international scientific standards, both for safety and efficacy, so that there could be reliable alternatives that medical practitioners can recommend. Beyond the possibilities that a Herbal Medicines Product Committee can achieve, the agency has also ensured that registration of herbal products are seamless.
For herbal products, when we give a listing status, there is no evaluation of the claim, And as such, there are disclaimers as to claims provided on herbal products that are listed. So it's globally accepted, and even if you look in other countries, you will see herbal products, dietary supplements, food products that have those disclaimers that the claims have not been evaluated by NAFDAC in this sense or by any other regulatory agency, though we can provide that listing when we have some assurance as to some other parameters that we would use during our assessment to ensure that they do not cause relative harm or they do not cause harm to patients. Now, if you want to move to full registration, then there are more stringent requirements which will then allow you to make claims, clinical claim or a claim to cure. But with a listing status, you cannot claim to be efficacious. So whenever you pick a herbal product, look at the labeling on the product. You will see a clear disclaimer from NAFDAC that the claims have not been evaluated by NAFDAC, and not only for NAFDAC, even for other products that are licensed in other jurisdictions, you will see those disclaimers on those products. So this is not something that only NAFDAC does. It is a globally accepted way of allowing herbal products to be available, but still allowing the consuming public to be aware that there is no scientific evidence backing any claim, and so they have to be cautious and mindful of that.
And that's our package for today. Please join us same time, same station next week for a fresh edition. In the meantime, if you have comments, complaints, or you want to report activities of fake drugs or adulterated food products peddlers, our doors are always open. You can reach NAFDAC via toll-free numbers. For inquiries, call 0700 162 3322. For complaints, call 0800 162 3322. You may also email nafdac@nafdac.gov.ng. If you have complaints about any form of misconduct, you can reach the Reforms Unit via email reforms@nafdac.gov.ng or call the Reforms hotlines on 0909 763 0506 or 0909 763 0507. NAFDAC, customer focused, agency minded. Importing, producing, distributing and selling fake drugs and cosmetics, adulterated food and so on are criminal activities that destroy lives. Join the fight against these heinous crimes by reporting any suspicious activity in your area to NAFDAC. Let's join hands to safeguard the health of our nation. See you next week. Stay safe.